Hey there, Pathfinders, and welcome to the first of what I hope is many reviews of the various scenarios, modules, and adventure paths for the Pathfinder role-playing game. First edition, a RPG system that I am very fond of and have been playing for a decent chunk of my adult life. Fair warning, this video, as well as all videos in this playlist, will contain some spoilers for the adventure itself. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, in today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at Silent Tide for Pathfinder Society Season 0, the very first Pathfinder Society adventure, and for many Pathfinders, this was their introduction to Society play. This adventure was written by Michael Cortez, or Cortz. I have no idea how to pronounce the name. It's written with a K. Silent Tide, released back in August of 2008, which is important because that means this scenario was actually designed for use with Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition rule set 3.5. In fact, to my knowledge, every scenario of Season 0 was designed for 3.5 use. But while the system was Dungeons & Dragons, the setting was firmly Pathfinder, with Silent Tide taking place in the now iconic city of Absalom. Players in this adventure are dispatched by Venture Captain Adriel Hestrom, a character I confess that I don't actually have too many memories of, and they're sent to the Puddle district of Absalom. You see, in the past, the nation of Taldor had actually planned an invasion of Absalom. A group of saboteurs, known as the Black Echelon, were sent out to weaken the city from within so that a hidden fleet of ships off the coast could easily take the city. However, the leaders of the Black Echelon were discovered. They were cut down by Absalom's defenders in the past, and the fleet off of the coast was defeated, and that was the end of that. However, the Black Echelon had sworn an oath to complete their task even after death, and so this mission, known as the Silent Tide, continues even after its initial failure. And when a historian by the name of Yargos Gill acquires a copy of the initial code book used for this mission, he very foolishly begins replicating the signals used to give the saboteurs their next assignment. And so, the Black Echelon rises from the graves to complete their grim task, and, more worryingly, the spectral remains of the invasion force off of the coast threatens to rise as well. Yargos, not being a complete fool, attempts to warn the city of the looming threat. However, he was captured by a local crime lord named Nessian, who wants to use the code book, which could in theory allow him to control the Black Echelon, to blackmail the city. The adventure itself plays out in several acts. Part 1 has the players rushing to rescue Yargos from Nessian's goons, the Warhounders, before the historian and his friends who were captured with him can be pushed off of a cliff and thrown into the sea to drown. It's actually, believe it or not, very possible to fail the scenario here, since the goons will kick the prisoners off the cliff in round 1, and players only have until the end of round 2 to start pulling the prisoners back up off the edge before they fall into the sea, where they will sink to the bottom by the end of the following round. Players need to move quickly here to defeat the thugs and save the prisoners, or else the entire scenario could easily go south. But assuming Yargos is saved, Act 2 begins with a signal flashed for the Black Echelon to attack the city, and Yargos knows that that signal is for the Black Echelon to attack the city's reserve grain supply, so the players need to rush over there to stop them. Act 3 has Yargos take the players to meet one of Pathfinder's most infamous NPCs, Grandmaster Torch, a recurring character who will be getting lots of mentions from here on out. Torch can tell the players where to find Nessian, but only if they help him out with some recently acquired safes. There are 5 safes in total, each having a slightly different mechanism that you need to do to get them open, which is a bunch of skill checks, basically. If players can get 3 of the 5 safes open, then Torch will give the players the info that they need, which leads us into Acts 4 and 5. Act 4 is entirely optional, actually. It's if the players want to just rush over to Nessian's hideout, they can skip Act 4, but I will say that it does involve a rather interesting, audacious fight in a cathedral where the players have to fight off the Black Echelon undead, while also playing music on one giant pipe organ, bouncing from key to key to keep the music going, which is just good fun. It's got dire stakes if the players fail, but it is a very fun encounter. But the final act, Act 5, is the raid of the Pyramid of the Dog, Nessian's stronghold, where players fight against several thugs, a dog, and Nessian himself. Defeating the crime lord ends the threat of the Black Echelon and the adventure itself. Silent Tide establishes and introduces many new mechanics and characters that will be used frequently in society scenarios going forward. The adventure is multi-tiered, so the level of the party determines the level of the enemies encountered in the scenario, which means, in theory, a lower level party can have an easier time running through the adventure, although that's not always true. There's a fully optional encounter, something that is a mainstay of society scenarios. There's a venture captain handing out the mission itself and then not doing diddly squat. And then, of course, there's the faction missions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cover faction missions once in this video as an overview, and they are something that's in pretty much every society adventure going forward. You see, at the start of a society scenario, individual players can be handed these little bonus assignments based on which in-world faction that player's character belongs to. Now, faction missions aren't usually anything too difficult, but completing them is required if you want to earn both prestige points available in a given scenario. For the most part, faction missions are something that your character can very easily do during the course of a scenario. Usually it's something small like grab an item here or make sure you kill a specific enemy in this encounter. But in future reviews, I will try to point out whenever a specific faction mission is problematic, because trust me, some of them are downright annoying. None of them in this scenario, however. Silent Tide introduces a new kind of monster, the Black Echelon, an undead assassin shrouded in mist, which otherwise isn't too interesting. It also gives us a new magic item, the Programmed Tattoo, which is a lot of fun for role-playing scenes, trust me on that one. Finally, let's talk about the Chronicle Sheet. Pathfinder Society rules don't typically let players buy just about anything. A lot of items and gear are only available if you've unlocked them through a Chronicle Sheet. Silent Tide doesn't have anything too spectacular, just some potions and scrolls, I think. But there is a book you can buy with this Adventure's Chronicle Sheet for 100 gold. That gives you a +2 circumstance bonus to skill checks concerning devils, which is quite the strange prize, if I'm being honest. So, what do I think overall? I think Silent Tide has a nice mix of both human and undead encounters. It introduces one of Pathfinder's most iconic NPCs, and it serves as a good introduction to several concepts that are prevalent throughout society adventures. If the first encounter wasn't so strict when it comes to time and how quickly the players have to act, I'd actually say that this adventure was a slam dunk, but as it is, I'm happy to give it a solid 7 out of 10. And there you have it. Thank you so very much for watching, and if you want to see more Pathfinder content, then be sure to let me know by leaving a like and a comment, because it really does help the video get seen more, and if this one does well, then there are more videos like it in the future. If you're interested in me talking about other RPGs, TCGs, gaming in general, then do subscribe, because I put out new content basically every single day. And finally, check out my Patreon, my Discord, and my TCG Player store. Links are in the description below. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.